Should be live.
We're live? Okay, I don't see it say live. That's okay.
Okay.
Hello and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me as always is...
Fill me and Parrish.
Hey, my right-hand man, the man without whom I could not do it all. And that was his actual right hand. So I could not do this without you, Phil. As always, you know that. You are so much my podcast husband, and I love that about you.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm a modern man. I don't get hung up on things like that. Okay. Let's talk. So much talk. Okay, let's talk about the tragedy that has befallen the Marvel Universe recently. And of course, I'm talking about the trailer for Inhumans. There are times, right now, Finn Jones is saying, heats off me, kids, heats off me. Because, oh my gosh. Aside from the fact that they have apparently gotten Charlie Chaplin to play Black Bolt, that's actually being honest. He's a bit more of a Fatty Arbuckle than a Charlie Chaplin. There's a lot more. He does a lot of a lot of crazy face takes. It's like Black Bolt, Black Bolt Black Bolt is not Don Knotts, okay? Black Bolt should not be, that isn't what Black Bolt does. It's not who he should be. Also, apparently, instead of having living hair that moves of its own accord, Medusa's superpower now is just super, super straight hair that doesn't move at all. Not a good thing.
Yeah, but do you think a lot of that, like her hair and his mask, not wearing the mask, do you think it's just like our modern superhero movies and TV where there's probably the actors have contracts that say, oh yeah, they have to have so much of you have to see their face so much through each episode or each movie, and
yeah, and first off, no, none of these people have that in their contract. Not for. I mean, the guy playing Maximus is the most recognizable guy just because he was on Game of Thrones. No, it's just bad. It is bad, and it makes me feel bad to watch this because I'm like, hey man, it's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. couldn't get me down. Iron Fist doesn't even really get me that down, man. I mean, we've been up here a while, but I still remember Captain America: Death Too Soon. I remember Spider-Man: The Deadly Dust. I remember Doctor Strange the movie. I remember all of these things. So I'm always happy to grade on a curve. This one is so hard to grade on a curve. I mean, really. I'm going to tell you this. You go and look up 1960s live-action Fantastic Four TV show, which is someone created, with stills and clip art and Photoshop, bits from this fictional 1960s Fantastic Four TV show. Look at that, and look at their Inhumans episodes, and look at this. And tell me if you're like, that looks so much better than what they're doing here.
And I mean, you think it's going to look bad on your TV? The first two episodes are going to be in IMAX? I mean, they're going to blow up their horribleness.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, I get, the hair, the Medusa's hair, it's a crazy thing, and it's like, how do you do it? Do you do it with wires? Do you do it with animatronics? Do you just do it
CGI?
Do you just do it CGI? Honestly, not for nothing, they have gotten hair down really well in CGI. I think that had they went to Pixar and said, Pixar, we need freaking Medusa hair. Pixar could have like gotten taken their math from Brave. Because here's the thing about CGI hair. Every hair is Moose's hair in CGI.
Mm-hmm.
So every time that anything moves, all of the mathematics for it exist in their computers when they're doing Brave, when they're doing The Incredibles, when they're doing any of these characters that have hair, when they're doing Sully in Monsters University, his hair movements are all controlled. So it shouldn't have been that. I'm not going to say it shouldn't have been that difficult. It would have been an Olympian task. I love you too, Benny. It would have been an Olympian task to do it. I'm not denying that. But you're the guys that wanted to do an Inhumans movie as a TV show and decided that the way to do it is just to make the Inhumans as lame as physically possible.
Well, was that the big problem? Is that they decided to go with it as like a TV series? Like if they had made it a movie, they might have like $100 million budget, and I'm sure the TV show doesn't have that budget.
No. Well, here's the thing of it is like if they did, and here's the annoying thing, is that it is a movie first. Mm-hmm. It is an IMAX movie going to be shown in theaters. You gotta buy a ticket to go see. They should have had that budget to do Medusa's hair right.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided, but honestly, and I'm going to tell you the real problem here is that they decided not to make it about Medusa, to make it about Black Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Black Bolt isn't a good person to make it about. You can make it about Maximus. So, okay, here's the thing. The original story of the Inhumans is Medusa gets manipulated by Maximus, gets thrown out of Atlan, loses her memory, as you did back in the 60s. You'd have amnesia. Winds up, getting manipulated into the Frightful Four, and this whole story evolves. And then you meet then the Inhuman royal family with Black Bolt comes looking for her, and they bring her back to Atlan, and then they find out that Maximus is taken over. That's the story. In this one, they seem to be following, I guess, a somewhat similar plot line, except that the difference is that Black Bolt gets cast out, and it's Black Bolt's road trip to get back to New Atlan and gather up, Karnak and Gorgon. Well, Medusa's locked away in the castle somewhere. So you take the least expressive character and turn him into Marcel Marceau. Have him clown around on Earth for a bit with Lockjaw.
Another character who doesn't speak. Lockjaw doesn't speak. If you're going to exile him with somebody, why didn't they cast out Black Bolt and Medusa? At least that way he'd have a translator. Yeah,
Lockjaw is good.
Yeah,
Lockjaw is good. I like Lockjaw, and Lockjaw has a great history and a great character. I can be seen now, so you see me shushing the kids. Okay. Please. Yes. Dealing with small children, it's fun. Okay, thank you. Go talk to your mother for a minute, okay, please? Thank you. Okay, yes. Anyway, domesticity. It's lovely. Okay, yeah. So, I live in a city. I live in Newark, New Jersey. And it is a city, and I live in an apartment. It means everyone's on top of each other. But it makes us stronger as a society to live in that way, rather than people who live out in the woods somewhere, never talk to their neighbors. So they all got all these guns because they got to be ready for whatever comes over that ridge. They don't know what it is. They got to be ready to take it out. I know the criminals who live next door to me, and we work it out. We find a relationship. It's all good. It's all good. Anyway, yeah. So to sum it up, yeah, criminals. Hey, it's New Jersey. This is where the Kushners are from. And that's not partisan. You think it's partisan, but everyone forgets that the Kushners used to be Democratic criminals. But after they went to jail for being Democratic criminals, they decided to become Republican criminals. And when they go to jail for that, then I actually think it's not the parties; it's just Kushners. They're just they have too much urge to supervillainy, and they just ruin everything. I'll throw a Kushner under the bus. What the heck?
All right, back to this crappy Inhumans show.
To quote the critic, it stinks. I don't know if it stinks. I'll be honest. I don't know if it stinks. It might be fantastic. I may be eating crow in a couple weeks or a couple months when it comes out, and I will happily. Here's the thing. I'm always happy to eat crow. I'm always happy to be pleasantly surprised when these shows go good.
Yeah, but you're not the only one I've heard this from. I've heard it from basically anyone I know personally. Any of the articles I've read, they said it doesn't look good. I mean, just visually, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good, and it's like, and you're putting it in IMAX, and it's like, if you're putting it in IMAX, what are you putting it in IMAX for?
Exactly.
First of all, I don't even like to see films in IMAX. It's like the only thing that I used to like to watch in IMAX were when I would go to the Detroit Science Center and you'd sit in the chair and they'd do the swooping cameras through the Grand Canyon. That was a good use of IMAX. I really don't see anything else as a good use of IMAX. If I'm not touring in the Grand Canyon, I don't know why I'm in an IMAX theater. I'll be honest with you.
I wonder, since it's IMAX, we're gonna have like all those shots of like the backdrop of the moon and.
Yeah, the moon.
Your other problem, yeah.
Well, my problem with the moon is that we can see the moon. It's not hidden. And everyone said, well, they're on the dark side of the moon. There is not a dark side of the moon. The dark side of the moon is the part of the moon that is currently rotated away from us. But that part does actually rotate back towards us. The moon actually rotates like the Earth. So there's not one permanent dark side of the moon like on Mercury where there is a permanent dark side.
Yeah. Well, I told you before, maybe they have cloaking technology or something, but what if they're in a huge crater or something?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's possible, but and there's ways to work it around. You just have it's a big shield cover up, Neil and honestly, here's what I'll tell you: you open it up with Neil Armstrong going, "It's one small step for man, one giant step for mankind," and then he looks over and there's Black Bolt. That is the way to start this series.
Oh, there you go.
If that's your first shot, you go, okay, now I'm intrigued. Now you got me. Because that's the thing. It's like you open it up, it's like Superman 2. When the Kryptonians come to the moon and the Russians are there, it has that dramaticism to it. It has something that draws you and says, okay, things got really real all of a sudden. And so for me, that's a really important thing. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Maybe they're going to pull it out. I do think it was very poorly cast. Not least which because they did not get Tatiana Kott to play Medusa. I'm sure this woman is fine. But honestly, I'm somewhat glad they didn't cast Tatiana because it seems like they basically cast someone as Medusa and she's going to be in like 1-2 scenes and then she gets locked away in the prison and then she's the damsel to be saved. It's like, aren't we trying to get away from that, Marvel? For what it's worth, Lilith made a point about like recently the length of time between Superwoman and Wonder Woman, or Supergirl and Wonder Woman. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that it's like a third of a century between the two. You know, and me and Tyler, we mansplained as much as we could. But what I said, and this is my real point, I am less concerned about the length of time between Supergirl and Wonder Woman than about the time between Avengers, when the superheroine concept of Black Widow was solidified, and you got the clamor for the Black Widow film, and everyone loved Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
And the length of time between that and now Wonder Woman. It has taken, because it's been a decade since Avengers, I think.
I don't know. I don't think it was no, it wasn't a decade. Wasn't it like, I don't know, let me look it up. I thought it was only like 2013 or something. Yeah, and I don't, or
Well,
2012 or something. I mean,
it's been a while.
It's been at least half a decade, I'll tell you.
But still, it's like clearly there was something that was there that was a solid request from the fan base. And, you know, Marvel is still ignoring it. And here we're coming back to this very retro kind of setup with this. Like I said, the glory of the Inhumans is the Black Bolt Medusa dynamic, and it seems like they've completely thrown that to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like they've made Black Bolt the star. Black Bolt is not the star of the Inhumans. The star of the Inhumans is Medusa and Crystal. That's what makes it a good series.
Well, yeah, I mean, Black Bolt's the figurehead. He's kind of like this ultimate power. But yeah, I mean, Medusa is, you know, she's the actual, you know, ruler. She's the woman behind the figurehead.
Well, she's the voice of the figurehead.
Exactly.
And like I said, I don't think Black Bolt's necessarily even the figurehead. I think that he's the character that people like. He's the ruler, but you need to have him be interpreted by Medusa. Mm-hmm. The bond between the two is supposed to be the communication. It's sort of like, you know, it's sort of like with Groot, mm-hmm. You know, in Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, and in the Guardians of the Galaxy too, everyone can understand Groot a bit better, you know. Mm-hmm. So everyone's like talking to Groot, and that's great. But you have to understand that, you know, a lot of the acting of what Groot is doing is everybody's reactions to Groot. Mm-hmm. And, you know, to take away, and to just have Black Bolt be mugging all the time, it's like, that's not who Black Bolt should be. Black Bolt is supposed to be, first off, you know, it's like any, you know, it would be like if you had Black Panther mugging all the time. And Black Panther doesn't have the problem of if he talks, things explode, you know? Mm-hmm. But you think about how who's playing Black Panther? Blanking on his name. I want to say, is it Boyega?
No, it's not Boyega.
No, Boyega is Finn. Not Finn, or
hold on, I'm looking it up.
Yeah. Anyway, but you look at how that actor is portraying Black Panther, mm-hmm. with not a wasted action, wasted move. There's no, you know, there's no mugging. Mm-hmm. And
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman, that's right. Too many actors in my head now. Not to keep them on, but, you know, honestly, I still don't know the difference between a Matt Damon and a Ben Affleck. I'll be honest with you. I call them Ben Damon and Matt Affleck most of the time. But the thing is that you look at how that character is portrayed, and you compare it to what we're seeing of Black Bolt right now. And they're both supposed to be kings, and they're supposed to be Marvel comic book kings. Mm-hmm. And they ain't.
Well, in the defense of
Black Panther is.
Well, I was gonna say, in the defense of Black Panther, I mean, he just became king, like, you know, in the Age of Civil War. So I mean, he's
But you know what? But he is a king already. Yeah, and he carries himself as a king, and he plays it. You know, you see, like, And I think, honestly, I don't know if he's ever said this, but I bet you he was influenced a bit by Eddie Murphy's character in Coming to America.
Mm.
And you think about how Eddie Murphy plays the king again, with this idea of this man who is very intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
very controlled, and very aware of everything going on around him at all times. And again, not mugging for the camera all the time. I don't want to, it's like I said, Black Bolt can't be that expressive.
But in their defense, we haven't seen the show yet. They might just show in this commercial, in that trailer, they might just be showing us the muggiest scenes. Maybe he isn't like that the whole time.
Maybe, but let me put it to you this way: you ever see Penn and Teller? Of course,
Yeah,
we've all seen Penn and Teller, and you see Teller. Teller is what Black Bolt should be. He stands there, and maybe he does a little thing, maybe he does a thing, but the quietness of Teller exudes from Teller.
Mm-hmm.
He's a quiet being, and he plays. Honestly, if they told me they had cast Teller as Black Bolt, I'd say yes. I mean, maybe he might not be tall. You know what? But you know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you: casting Teller as Black Bolt is like, why am I blanking on every actor's name now? Played Batman in the 80s Batman series.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. When everyone's like, you're casting Michael Keaton as Batman, he's not. Michael Keaton was amazing as Batman.
Yes,
be fantastic as Vulture.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I'm telling you. It's like you think about Teller as Black Bolt, but Teller as Black Bolt would have been amazing in what he could do as Black Bolt. They're all dancing in front of the computer trying to distract me. But anyway, yeah, that's okay. So enough of that. Let's get to something good, a little deeper. Yeah, we'll try and do something good. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Okay, so we realized something today about the current Nick Spencer Secret Empire arc, which is that Nick Spencer stole the entire idea. Hello, Tristan. This is Tristan. From an episode of Kim Possible.
That's right.
And it really struck me that this is the whole crux of it, is that if you have a guy who's a supervillain, who actually isn't a supervillain, but is just an intelligent guy aware of what's going on around him, a guy who actually is trying to get things done in a supervillainous way, he becomes so much more unstoppable because he doesn't have the built-in self-defeating qualities of a supervillain. Captain, Hydra Cap isn't going to start monologuing at any time. He's going to be like, not what I'm going to do. I'm doing this. I'm getting it done. To that extent, that's why Captain America or Captain Hydra is such a great villain in this, because he is literally just the guy getting it done. He's not even doing it for his own self-aggrandizement. He's doing it because, you know what? The world needs someone to take control, and I'm going to be that guy. So there was an episode of Kim Possible where Draken's evil got transferred into Ron, and Ron, in one episode, takes over the world. And basically just like Cap, just takes it over and is like, because he's not stupid as a supervillain. He's not doing this because he needs to prove himself to anyone. It's just, well, I'm evil, so I'm going to take over the world. He doesn't have to make sure that Richard sees how good he is. The way Dr. Doom, I got to make sure Richard sees me. See, I won, Richard. Admit it, I won. And like if that's your motivation as a supervillain, you're always going to fail, because all superheroes to say is, I'll never bow to you, Doom. And then it's like, you never get to have your final triumph. And because you can't have your final triumph, you can't finish. Yeah. But anyway, so that's that. But I definitely think, I really want to start this out there that, Spencer stole this whole thing from Kim Possible. I want to see memes out there of Evil Ron saying Hail Hydra. get the. I call it a mem. Yes, mem or meme, who knows? I'm sure someone does. I don't care. I call it a mem because it's a word I've read, not heard.
Charlie's producer discorrected him. It's a meme.
Oh, we should do all the shows with the kids. I know you wanted to be in the show. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. Let's get to the actual meat and potatoes of it. We recently got the preview of Secret Wars 3, Secret Empire 3, in which we get that, because of course at the end of Secret Empire 2, we got, I'm Steve Rogers, I'm just trying to get home. And in Secret Empire 3, we see that this Steve Rogers doesn't have his memories.
Mm-hmm.
That whatever he is at, he's like, I remember training camp. And you see him as little scrawny Steve Rogers at the training camp. And you get this idea that this is the real Steve Rogers, that somehow part of him has been pulled away from his own history. And it's an interesting concept when you think of like, so you have this divergent timeline. You have the real Steve Rogers timeline. And then somewhere in World War II, Kobik separates it out, fills in this other timeline that informs what we have as our current Steve. But the other Steve Rogers still exists within that cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
But he's lost his history, but he's still the man he was. So it is in the, and I think I remember someone saying, I think it was Graham McMillan and Jeff Lester on the Wait What podcast, where they were saying, oh, it's Superman Red, Superman Blue. You know, you split Superman into two. And one is the good Superman, one is the evil Superman. And, you know, again, an idea stolen from the best Superman film ever made, Superman #3. Watch it on Captain Lunatics, kids. We're reviewing it. And I will tell you, I am going to, this is the moment I've trained for my entire life. Why Gus Gorman deserves to be back in the DCU as the most terrifying villain of all, because he knows your secrets. Because it's all out there on the interwebs, kids. Everything you ever did, everything you ever said, he knows it because he's Gus Gorman and he talks to computers.
You have to recast them now. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I meant in the comic books. I mean, they could draw. Okay. I mean, they could draw him like Richard Pryor in the comic books. I mean, and it's not like it'd be that hard to get an actor to put on a Richard Pryor wig and mustache. You know, I mean, there's lots of actors who could do a Richard Pryor impression. Trust me, they I know a lot of actors and comedians, black and white, who do great Richard Pryor impersonations. So it's not like they couldn't get an actor to be a Richard Pryor character. But you know, I think that Gus Gorman character deserves to be in the DCU, to be the, as I said, the evil Oracle. You know, just like Batgirl in her wheelchair. You know, telling everyone what's going on all around the city. Have a guy doing that, but just be evil. You know. The villains for hire guy. That is Gus Gorman. He is a fantastic character, and he deserves that. But yeah. So again, that idea of the split hero, of the good and the evil, of the Kal-El, douchey guy from Krypton, and Clark Kent, a human being from Smallville, Kansas, or Smallville, New York, depending on which story you read. Smallville used to be in New York. Look it up, kids. Yeah, it's upstate New York. Anyway, but the idea that maybe you have this split Captain America of the goodness of Cap and the evilness of Cap split apart, because this is because you have the base Cap that's been separated from his history. And then the other Cap that's been filled in with this Hydra history. to nurture him to evil. They're both Caps. They're both the same decent, perfect men.
Mm-hmm.
But one has a history of... One has been given a history, and that history has turned him evil. The other one has no history, and his basic nature is that he is good. And I think that is the point, is that maybe that Cap's basic nature is good, even as he's been forced into this evil. But now, of course, Captain America, Steve Rogers' Captain America, we just read this week, he was full-on supervillain.
Mm-hmm.
He's all secondary color, man. He's actually green and yellow. And yellow is technically a heroic color, except when you match it with green, which is an evil, villainous secondary color. It's a secondary color, and villains wear green. Green and purple. Yeah, the Skull's head is red, and that is a primary color. He is right. He does wear green jumpsuit. So, man. Yeah, in the comic book shows, in the movie, it is a black outfit that he wears. That is true. I love my little nerd sons. Anyway. Yes. Okay, so but yeah, so I definitely think there's something interesting there. The two Captains America being, that one lacks a history, I think, is important. We don't quite know what it is yet, but it's important. What do you think? I'm talking the whole time. You haven't said like 2 words here.
Well, I know not to stop you when you're on a roll. It's quality, but no. No, I think I said this last week. I wonder if Hydra Cap's going to end up getting killed in the end, or killing himself, and then we're going to get like this inexperienced Steve Rogers, who's 1, a man at a time, and 2, is he going to have to learn how to be Captain America all over again?
I mean, it's an interesting concept. Honestly, the idea of a Cap who doesn't even know who he's Cap.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you do that, then you have to make him Nomad.
Ooh.
So Cap's back, and he is
like when he's training. Yeah.
Well, no, it's this idea that because he's got like all the muscle memory. He knows he's supposed to be the hero, but he doesn't know what it means to be him anymore, because his history's been wiped away. He has amnesia, classic 60s Medusa amnesia, as we've been saying. You need to hit him in the head with a coconut, and maybe he'll come back.
It's not. I mean, it couldn't. I mean, it's not like amnesia. I mean, Kobik probably just pulled the memories out of his head. So yeah. They're not there.
Exactly. I mean, whatever it is that was done to him. Although Charles Xavier says you can't do that. But Charles Xavier is dead, so who knows what he knows anymore. I have to be honest with you, because when we look at the Marvel Universe right now, we have this the integration of the Ultimates, the overlaying of the Ultimates and everything. Even as we just pointed out in Infamous Iron Man, where memories of an Ultimate Reed Richards are memories of a 616 Ben Grimm. That this universe has been overlaid on itself. And I gotta think that they're doing this with the understanding that the middle will not hold. I gotta think that when you think about all the stresses this universe has been through, the shattering of time in the Age of Ultron, the rewriting of Kobik, the Secret Wars,
time travelers just coming and going and staying for years.
Yeah, well, it's all of it is just. But here's what I'll say. The history of the Marvel Universe has always been shattered. Because we've always known there were alternate histories that didn't necessarily make sense. Whether it's the Days of Futures Past world or the 2099 world where it's always 2099. Did you ever see Rudolph and Baby New Year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they go to all the different islands, and in each island, it's always the same period of time.
Yeah.
That's what the Marvel Universe is like. There's always this island of 2099, and it's like it'll always be 2099 there. That's all it will ever be. Always be on the cusp of the next millennia. Or the year before the next millennia, because actually 3001 would be the next millennia, not the year 2000. That's the last year of that millennia. If you want to get technical, because there's no year 0 in the AD or the BCE calendar. There is not a DC calendar. Okay, well, that's a different universe. Anyway, I think that they are going towards another rewrite.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that basically what they're doing, I don't know how they're going to do it, because I don't think they're just going to, crumple it up and start over. I don't think we're going to get back to the Fantastic Four going up in a rocket ship in the year 2020 or 2018, whenever the whole House of Cards collapses. I don't think that's what we're going back to.
You know what? I think they're going to try to leave everything vague. Like if they give us the Fantastic Four origin, they're not going to they're kind of trying to make the technology and everything vague, so you can't pin it to a specific year and all that stuff. And I wonder if that's why they're doing the thing that they're doing with Cap now. If our idea does pan out, where we get this, Hydra Cap gets killed and we get this young and experienced Steve Rogers. So you kind of the original Cap still happened in World War II, but you're going to kind of get almost like a soft reboot of Cap in the present day.
Well, what's interesting about this Cap is that this is clearly a Cap who hasn't been Cap yet. Like we said, he's not wearing the uniform. So this is a Cap. He's still in training. He's still in Camp Pendleton. He maybe hasn't even met Peggy Carter yet. Only knows Betsy Ross. Still bugs me.
Yeah.
Because the thing with Peggy Carter was he only met her once in the war, and now it's there's this great love affair because of the movies, and actually even the comic book sort of expanded who they were together over the years, and it's that was Betty Ross, that was that. They just toss it all out.
And you have you always had the weird love triangle, because at first, back in the '60s, Sharon Carter was Peggy's sister. And he dated her.
Oh, yeah.
But now it's even weirder, because now he's now she was Peggy's niece, and now he dated her, and then he dated her niece.
Well, one imagines that the niece is better than the sister, because that is really
with the time difference now. In the '60s, it was only 20 years or so. But.
Well, yeah, but it's sure, younger, hotter model. Now, of course, they had at that time the idea that Peggy basically went insane at the end of World War II. She had Peggy Carter has been through a lot in the comic books, and but at least she wasn't forgotten like poor Betsy Ross. That's my thing is Betsy Ross. She got just forgotten. They just decided they don't count no more, and it's kind of and part of me is sitting there going, the whole thing with, in Great Lakes Avengers, we had this bit with Connie Ferrari and about how she's kind of obsessed with Captain America at this point because she's been with Captain America, and once you've been with Captain America,
you don't go back.
You don't go back. Once you go Cap, you don't go back. That's the thing. But of course, there's only one Cap, and so makes you wonder if that's sort of, because I know that that was kind of a thing, Betsy Ross, and both. It seemed to be a thing with Jeff Nussland or not Jeff Nussland. What was Nussland's first name? I'm forgetting it. And Jeff Mace. William Nussland.
Yeah.
With William Nussland, the Spirit of 76, who was the first replacement, and then replaced by Jeff Mace. And it seemed from the retelling of the Patriots story that she was never that impressed by any of them because they just were not Cap. But she does wind up marrying Mace, so good on that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Morgenstern back as Miss Patriot in the Ant-Man books, so that's good. You know. But yeah, but poor Betsy Ross, they forget that she was Cap's first love, and I just think Cap had a lot of loves. And there was recently a thing about all the women that Spider-Man has dated over the years. There've been a lot. That cat gets around, man. You know,
you know who's the worst? Daredevil, Matt Murdock, man.
Really, I know Karen Page.
There was Elektra, Black Widow. There was another one, Heather Glenn. And I swear there was at least one or two more. But yeah, the Gloriana, somebody. She was a photographer. That was like in the 80s. Yeah. Matt Murdock's been around.
Well, you know what the inspiration for that is, don't you?
What?
David Banner, the Incredible Hulk.
If
you ever watch that show, man, in the 1980s, every week it's like you realize that's how David keeps on getting all these shots. You realize he's always working for these lovely single women or sometimes married women who are real friendly with David Banner, and you realize he's maybe gigoloing his way across the country as the Hulk. Because that's one thing.
What do you think kept him going as a unknown drifter all those years? It gets lonely, man. Different port in the storm every week.
And that's one thing I'll say about that David Banner Hulk versus our later Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo Hulks is, that's not outrageous. We always make the joke when we watch The Incredible Hulk about, I guess that's not outrageous enough, because it's like when he gets angry or outraged, and it's like, hey, I ain't angry, and this ain't outrageous, whereas now it's like, oh, my heart rate will go up, and then I'll turn into a Hulk. It's like, I guess, or maybe you could just like chill about it and not like just become a rage monster just because you're, if you think that doing that's going to make you a Hulk, I think you got some deeper Freudian problems, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk.
Is it just like that alteration of the DNA that makes these guys like, such like crazy ladies men? I mean, because Steve Rogers, Super Soldier Serum, I mean, Bruce Banner, Peter Parker, and Matt Murdock all exposed to radiation.
Well, actually, no, Hawkeye really only has dated two people, Black Widow and Mockingbird. So, yeah, and he's just a normal guy. But that's because he's the good, hard-working Carney. Remember, Carney's built this country, and he's just a blue-collar Carney, and that's all. I mean, Tony Stark gets around, but he has money.
Yeah, he's rich. That's his superpower, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, we all know that superhero comics, they are wish fulfillment for guys who maybe did not date as much as they would have liked to in their youths, and imagining what it would be like if you woke up one day with this amazing superpowers and suddenly you could be an alpha dog. But of course, you also have to be a nice person.
But like even like Matt Murdock, I mean, they showed it like in the first season of the Netflix show. He plays up the whole blind guy thing when they don't know he has powers. It's like, oh hey, can you hold my hand and help me along? And they're like, oh sure, and
Yeah, well, it helps that he's really good looking. Yeah, successful and smart, and that's this idea. It's this idea that women like a good-looking man, but they also like a nice man. They would like a nice, good-looking man. If you're a nice man and you're good-looking, yes,
and you have a good job.
Well, and or you're a hobo like David Banner. Trust me, a nice guy who doesn't have a job but is good-looking. Women do like that because women can, often take care of themselves. They've been feeding themselves for a while at this point. They're not all looking for a man to take care of them.
Yeah.
But you're this really nice guy who is also really good looking. Yes, women are going to be like, okay, that's really attractive to me. And so, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, those of us who are nice guys and are not good looking, but still have women say, "You're a really nice guy. I really like you." We know that, yeah, women like really nice guys. If you are actually, and you have to be an honest, nice guy. You have to be an honest, nice guy who isn't just there for other stuff. You have to be who's just actually, no, I'm actually, I see you as a human being and I respect you as a human being. And because you're a human being, I treat you as a human being would be treated. Women love that stuff. It's the old saying. It's all about sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
Once you can fake sincerity, you've got it made.
I mean, Matt Murdock, he's a lawyer. He can fake sincerity with the best of them.
Exactly. Well, that's your entire job as a lawyer, is to fake sincerity, and I think Matt Murdock does that very well. And it doesn't hurt that he's blank but capable.
Yeah,
So
and there's hypersenses. I mean, you could tell when a line's working and when it's not working by heartbeats and stuff.
Well, yeah, well, exactly. You got to wonder how those hypersenses work in a more physical sense in a relationship. Does it just make it all the better for him, or does it make it overwhelming? I don't know. We don't know yet.
I think
we haven't heard any complaints.
Yeah, no, I think they mentioned a story like he gives great back rubs and stuff because he knows all the pressure points and he can his sense of touch is so sensitive he can tell where your muscles are most tense.
Yeah, I give great back rubs too, but
if you're interested, at Charlie Esser.
DM me, man, whatever that means. No, but that's the comic book. That's the classic comic book story. Is you have a guy who is maybe from a position of not being an alpha male, suddenly made into an alpha male, but who doesn't become corrupted by his own power. Mm-hmm. And you see, that is the idea of what makes you a superhero, is you are powered, but you aren't corrupted by your power. You take your power and you say, my power is meant for something better than just, give me girlfriends. Mm-hmm. And to that extent, I think that's why Marvel Comics got so popular. Because at their core, their story is about a guy who gets powers. In this Spider-Man story, he gets powers. He immediately uses these powers for selfish ends. Realizes that does not work because he's still a nice guy. He knows what it's like to be bullied. He knows what it's like to be a little guy. He knows what it's like when the world deals you a bad hand. And now he realizes, I have powers. I actually have to help people because I know what it's like to not be helped and to be at the mercy of people with power. And that's why, in the movie, why Erskine wants Steve Rogers, because a little guy, when he gets power, can appreciate it. Whereas the big guy who's had power all his life, maybe he don't. Anyway, and that is the crux of the Captain America Hydra Cap question. Will Cap realize that with his great power must also come some responsibility? Exactly. He knows. Tristan knows. With great power comes great responsibility, and that responsibility is to serve mankind and not by eating them. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about tonight, Phil?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So, Phil, if you would like to reach out to you and talk to you about the craziness that is the capes and the lunatics and the super connections that live therein, how can they find you?
Well, if you would like to schedule an appointment with the magic hands of Charlie Esser, you can always email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. And just remember, Superconnectivity, still going to be on Enough Said, but you can also find it on our upcoming Capes and Lunatics podcast with me, Charlie, Lilith, and Tyler. And like every week now, if Charlie's fine with it, I think we're going to do it like we're doing it tonight on we're filming live on Google Hangout. It's on you can find it on the Capes and Lunatics YouTube page. So subscribe to the Capes and Lunatics YouTube page. And most nights, not next week, but most nights we'll probably be doing this Friday night. So chat room's open. You can talk, communicate with us live. And also, we have the voicemail for Capes and Lunatics, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. So if you listen to the very last episode of All New Marvel Roundup, you heard Stockton Piner. So check it out. Okay, I think I'm done. Okay, Charlie Esser.
Yeah. We are going to try and keep on doing this on Google Hangouts. I can't always promise that Tristan will be our third co-host. I know you love. He's ready. He's ready for the podcast world. Let me tell you. If you would like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, if you'd like to cut out my procurer, Philip Parrish, and go directly to the source.
There goes my 10%.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least that's reasonable. You can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog. Someday I'll write a blog again at gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet something. Because we can't live tweet The Incredible Hulk anymore, which is no longer on 7 o'clock on Saturdays on MayTV. It's going to be on boo. I mean, they didn't even finish the series. It's like we've already looped Wonder Woman twice, and the Hulk can't even finish one series before we got to watch Battlestar Galactica? MayTV, get on the ball. And the Hulk is moved over to Heroes and Icons, but it's weekdays at 5 when I'm at work. I don't know about you, but I'm at work. I got a day job, This podcasting don't pay for itself. Let me tell you, not yet anyway. But I do live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I guess I'll have to live tweet the Inhumans because they took 8 episodes of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. time slot next year, and I'll live tweet something else. I'll find something to live tweet. Hey, Cloak and Dagger's coming. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser, 2 E's in the middle for quality. Thank you for connecting with us, ladies and gentlemen. Please super connect with us once again. Good night.
Good night.